We just came out of winter with a lot of evergreen colors, but I love this green, kind of a celadon. Remember, fresh cut, even with your woody stems, you can split it up if you want. Sometimes I think the viburnum can go. So with things like hydrangea and viburnum, you might want to smash the end or give it a cut up the center of the stem at the bottom. And let's see. Now we're going to add the hellebore. And these are just kind of little floaty accents. They do what they want because they have multiple flowers on a stem. I like some high, some low. I have another stem here. And I might want these to come out this side. I like to think of flower arranging as if I like to cut things in my garden just in a bucket. I go around with the bucket, and I kind of think your arrangement should look like it's just picked from the garden. Hence that garden style term. So, and I really, this is the front of my arrangement. And I'm going to tuck this fun little hellebore down low so it spills over. I don't know if you can see that. And next I'm going to add, here are my favorite things for a flower arrangement. I think you should have something branchy, some blossom branches or branches, some vine, some tall flowers, some fuller focal flowers, what they call gestural flowers, little pop of color. And so what makes an arrangement interesting is to have variety. So if you have flowers that are different shapes, that's going to make it more interesting because it'll give it depth. One of my favorite flowers, butterfly ranunculus. And if anybody's a gardener, you can now grow these, but you can only get the corms from 2 growers, and I will get the name if anybody's interested. I'm going to try to grow them myself next year, but I heard they're a little temperamental. Make sure that you get your stems in too. You don't want to have, a stem should go all the way down to the bottom of the vase so it has enough water to drink. Okay, now I'm going to add my pretty garden roses. These were a splurge for the Seattle Garden Club. And I'm sorry I don't get to do that demo. I was looking forward to it. It was from the garden to the vase. I was going to tell them what I love to grow, to cut, because I think you can cut strategically from a garden and still have it look nice in your yard, but also be able to bring some things in and enjoy them in your house or give them as gifts. So I have a friend who really doesn't cut from her garden because she thinks it'll deplete it. But I'm here to tell you, you can cut strategically, especially if it's a little windy or if things are just about ready to fade. Cut them and bring them in. You'll enjoy them inside more than you would perhaps walking around your garden or driving up. I do want a tall guy here. And I like where that one is. The nice thing about flower arranging is it's not set in concrete. You can move it. Oh, I should talk about my dislike of Oasis floral foam. It was developed in the 50s, I think, as a mechanic for florists, but it's not really great for the environment. So if you use it, maybe just do a little bit of research on it, and I'm happy to share many different ways that you could not use floral foam and still have a really pretty arrangement. In fact, I would argue that using floral foam makes everything look tight and doesn't look floaty or garden-like to me. You might think so, but I also think it impedes how a flower stem can take up water. And I don't like to cut it or work with it. I think I'm gonna go a little wild here. We're just gonna give this guy, let it do its thing, kind of tall. Well, maybe a little too tall. There's all kinds of proportions in flower arranging. I've been taking Ikebana classes, and you generally want to go 1.5 to 2 times the width and the height of your vase, and that will give you balance and proportion. So what do I have left here? I've got my hyacinths, and I am going to put those in this back area here. Hyacinths and daffodils can kind of leave a little bit of a sap. They're also pretty strong as far as fragrance, so only for the discriminating in the who like that kind of fragrance. I don't mind it. I have kids with allergies, so might not have this in a central place. But I love fragrant flowers myself. And then I always like to add a little bit of a branch kind of on this back line, like as a supporting player for my line flowers. Oh, you don't really want things the same height. So if you're putting in some things and they're equal, change that up. And then I find something that's really useful is to photograph your arrangement, because when you look at the picture, you'll see holes that are not negative space. You'll see something that's maybe too long, too short, and then you can fix that after you photograph it. I'm now going to add some tulips because they just have a pretty line. Tulips, you know, are photosensitive, so they're going to go towards the light and stretch up. I forget exactly what that principle is, but it's an interesting thing where your tulips are going to grow. And make sure you don't have any, a lot of times tulips, if you strip the leaves, you'll find a lot of dirt. Rinse that off. You don't want to add dirt to your water. And I don't really use a floral preservative. I just use water. Keep the water fresh. Flush the vase. If you want to recut your stems, that'll extend the life of the flowers. I read an interesting thing in Kristen Gill's new book called Cultivated. She had a quote where it says, "You don't expect your arugula to last a week, so maybe we need to be a little more forgiving with fresh cut flowers." Everybody wants them to last for, 10 days, 2 weeks, but they are cut. They're no longer on the plant. Let's see how this is looking. And then you can just fill it out. I might add this little hyacinth right in here. It's kind of pretty, kind of fluffy, kind of pink. It's funny, I don't really love pink. I'm wearing pink, but I went with the flowers I loved and the colors, and so I picked these flowers based on this ranunculus because I love those. They also come in a yellow, but I've been doing a lot of yellow lately. And I used to wear pink as a child and only pink, so then I stopped. I'm not going to put that anemone in because it just doesn't work for me. But I do have these little, I have a bud. I love buds. I think they're fun. They can kind of extend up and be your wispy. I have these larkspur buds. I'm going to pop those in. I don't have really a filler, like wax flower, but that's okay. There's a trend too to just make flower arrangements with flowers and not using a lot of greenery, so you can try that as well. So there, oh, you'll see I see a little spot there. I might like to add some of this ilex down below. And if you have any questions, you can email me at lori@flori.flowers, and I'll try to answer your questions. I'm not really a certified florist, but I've been doing it for a long time. I grew up on a farm, grew a lot of flowers with my mom, worked at a couple florists in my 20s, and I grow a lot of flowers, and I love it. And what we florists like to do are take workshops, which is like our continuing ed. So I highly recommend you can take a workshop. As soon as I can, I will be teaching some classes, and I can do privates or groups. So, but that won't be for a while, I understand. So anyway, I have a lazy season here, but you can kind of see, isn't that pretty? I mean, I'm not complimenting my own work. I just think the flowers are so pretty. Thank you for watching and happy spring. I hope you have a good day.